in
to Bucks and Brews, you might hear something
you can use.
like tips on your cash or tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use
smarts of these studs.
because they know the brews.
And they know the Bucks. And they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, because shit's not funny.
Save yourself some
Beer money. Bucks
and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks and brews.
brews.
Bucks and Brews.
Welcome back to Bucks and Brews. So, I have news.
Me too.
But before we get to news, Nick, what are you drinking?
I am very excited for today. For a couple days now, I've been looking for the limited edition Busch Latte Peach, and took a quick drink. Fantastic, very peach forward. Doesn't, I mean, if you're not a Busch Light drinker, a Bud Light, or a light beer drinker, but you like the fruity things, it's a great beer for you, right? You won't know that you're drinking a beer aspect of things. You're literally just drinking some type of, like, I would compare it to what you're about to tell us that you're drinking. I can't say as sweet though, right?
No, you're definitely not as sweet as mine.
Yeah. But really, so hey, if you don't like things that sweet, right, then definitely go with the Busch Light Peach and have fun with it. So
I've been gifted a Busch Light Peach from you. I don't usually like Busch,
yeah,
but
Busch Latte.
very peachy. This is not bad. Like, I can still get the undertones of Busch that I don't like,
Sure.
but there's a lot of peach there to like.
Yeah.
When I'm done with those, my lightness tonight,
Yeah.
a Smirnoff iced pink lemonade
It's fantastic.
and a green apple.
Yeah.
So I will be enjoying some fruity things myself here. Candy, what are you drinking?
I mean, Alla might have a little bit of a fruit undertone, just not quite as light as you guys. Oh, I mean, it's the stuff I've been drinking lately. Start with the soft parade, and then after that, I've got it's the green zebra.
Yeah, the
It was
ghost.
a style variety pack from Founders.
Yeah.
And supporting the local breweries, unlike you guys who are supporting the mass produced stuff.
That's a fact. Yep. I do support the one that gives me the cheapest. Normally, this was
This was expensive.
this was, yeah. So I'm not afraid to admit, it's supposed to be on sale for $22 for the case. Here in Michigan, if you had the sales tax, it puts me like 25, 26. Or no, sorry. Yeah, and then
And then deposit.
$3 for deposit for my 30 rack that I got. And I paid $37 for this. So
Did you see Meyer has Bud Light and it has like a $15 mail-in rebate?
everybody said 15, but the one that printed out for me was only a $10 rebate, which is fine. I still paid $8 for 24. I bought one this weekend. So, and
If I come in on up Sunday or Saturday and jump in its pool,
yeah.
maybe he'll have a peach latte left for me.
So yeah, you have to check the fridge if there's one in there. I mean, there should be. I don't see a reason.
I told him after my games on Saturday, I might just head straight there and jump in fully clothed because it's gonna be so fucking hot.
Yeah, it's been a hot week. It's been good. Still in the middle of getting everything perfect, but we don't give a shit.
Oh, I think the heat you're having this week will help warm it up.
Yeah, I mean, but I say we keep having to dump it all into the road and stuff because we're vacuuming and fill it back up with water. So keeps it cool. They went swimming last night. Of course, I don't swim unless other people are really there and I have to. But
So like when I come over,
yeah, like limited. I mean, very limited. I probably use the pool. The year of COVID, I swear I used
we
it.
weren't in a lot.
Oh shit, ton I probably used it. But
What? There was the 4th of July when it was literally you being Dodd and he had
Yeah,
Courtney had
Nick and
Emerson
Courtney left.
yeah, I probably average in my pool twice a year, right? And people don't realize like how much I don't like. I just maintain the damn thing.
I would be in that
it.
thing all the fucking time.
No,
All the
Then-
fucking time.
I don't like getting and then I don't know. Like if I make a full day of
That's
it,
where
if I
was
start out
supposed to
drinking,
be, Nick, I would help you with the maintenance.
yeah, I say,
I would be in there all the time.
if I if I am intending, if I know we have to go nowhere, if any, like, I don't mind doing it as a full activity, right? But just to get out and get in and do this and just not my kind of thing, right? Because like
You
look
need
at
to
last
do
night,
is
they
learn-
went. I have to
You
get
learned
out,
the Leandrew.
right?
Yeah.
I say,
Dave and I sit in the pool and you bring us Leandrew.
I'm good
well,
with that.
I gotta get out and go fucking cook, right? And then I dry it off, and then if I want, hate getting wet, dry, wet, dry. You know, it just bugs me. I don't like rain because you get wet at little bits at a time, right? Like,
So when I
And
was
then you saw
growing
me.
up-
You saw me at the beer and donut fest when
Yeah.
it was that sprinkle, and I'm just sitting out there enjoying it. I was happy.
say, not me,
I
my
wasn't
friend.
even drunk being happy. I was just enjoying the fact that it was a like perfect little light rain on a spring day.
well, like my last couple years of high school, Mike would come over and literally, you know, we'd have 5-6 guys there, and what we would do is we'd play basketball in the driveway for an hour or so, go hop in the pool for an hour or two,
Yeah.
go back to the driveway,
pool basketball,
play
or
pool basketball, yeah.
volleyball.
Then go back to the driveway for another hour basketball, and then go back into the pool. I
And
mean,
that
we
was
did
our
that
drying
over and
off,
over.
was playing basketball.
Yeah,
Oh man.
I mean that's what we did. Nick, what is your new opening?
So, my new opening with my new beer for the day.
Yes.
Is thank you everybody for listening to us. Our numbers are really growing. What helps us do that is when you like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. We appreciate it. So all the support is very much appreciated.
I will say that our beer and donut fest review,
Yeah,
very popular,
good.
and we picked up in the last couple of weeks 32 new listeners in Singapore.
Yeah, so new subscribers. That's
Wow.
amazing.
You gotta love it.
I don't care where they come from. All I care about is we have them.
I don't either, and hopefully they
You're an
understand.
you're an internationally known podcast.
Yep.
Yeah, so basically the last 30 days, 32 downloads in Singapore. So I don't know if it's 32 people or just 32 downloads.
Sure.
You know, we'll say that. 3 in Germany, India, Cambodia, and the Philippines, 2 in Canada, and 1 in Japan. So
Yeah.
we're international, and you gotta like that.
I do. I enjoy. We are pesos and cervezas, baby.
And
Yes,
so
we are.
so you went. Let me go. So you said Germany, Canada,
Japan, the
Japan.
Philippines, Cambodia, India, and Singapore.
They call
At
us
this
Mr.
point, You are on. Well, because you've got people. You've got the one guy in Australia that sometimes follows.
Yeah.
You've got somebody in South America, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
At this point, you've got 5 of 7 continents.
I think I can get Antarctica. I'm working on a guy on TikTok that works on
Yeah,
the
it's just-
South Pole
yeah.
thing.
There was the one you shared with me.
Yeah.
Where he
Well, no,
poured the
there's somebody in
Coca-Cola.
South
Yeah.
Africa too, that follows you guys, isn't there?
We have had some listeners in South Africa, yes.
So you 6 continents. At this
Yeah.
point, you
All-
just
all-
literally just need somebody who's hanging out in those, climate stations down in.
Well, you know, and I don't know if our numbers will be picked up as Antarctica.
Probably not. No,
Looks
it's
like I'm
gonna be
traveling there.
wherever-
There you go.
I mean, I'm going to travel there just to get us the download, just so we can be Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide. Yeah,
So
DJ.
so I thought that was really exciting that we
It'll
picked
be
up
Bucks
some
and Brews
Singapore
720.
listeners. There you go. Yeah, so that's really exciting.
All right. So this might sound like a fun. I want to start this episode by telling you my little bits of life.
We're gonna do a lot of that today, I think.
So I have been having a really good time because I asked you this question actually last week. So what people don't understand is I don't actually usually listen to my radio anymore in my car, but for some reason I kind of turned it on and music's just really annoying to me right now. So I found a talk show and I happened to start listening and it happened to be on 106.9.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey David, is this a pretty Republican channel? Because right, some of the things they're saying." And you're like, yeah, it is. So I've been listening to it. And again, I'm very open-minded. And again, fiscally conservative like crazy, right? People think
Even that,
because we wear
I've
this.
had this conversation. The Republican politicians aren't truly fiscally conservative.
Correct.
Right.
They're
Well-
just fiscally for the rich people.
Let's
Right.
and I don't know who the hell I was listening to. I don't want to give them a shout out because I don't really care. But so I was listening to it kind of on the way here, and it is about today's topic, right? It's about the debt ceiling. We're talking about that a little bit more and some other stuff. But what I'll say is I was like, man, how great would it be for us to listen to something of their little talk show and then just talk about each individual thing about whatever. And then all of a sudden he goes, yeah, the politicians that are in office, you can't trust any of them.
Mhm.
He goes, look, as a normal American, I'm a handshake guy. And I was like, dude, I'm a handshake guy. I was like, if we say we have a fucking deal, we have a deal, right? Because he's like, I don't want to give the example, but I went to go buy something. And we're like, great, we're going to keep it up. And if we get a better offer, we'll let you know. And he's like, that's not a fucking deal then, right? Like, that's a, hey, I have a rebound if I need it kind of a thing. So I was like, yeah, see, like, I definitely am a handshake person, right?
Mhm.
I just bought a trailer
Okay.
a couple days ago, and the lady didn't have the keys with her for the door, and there was a trailer lock, so we couldn't actually hook up to it. And she's like, hey, I have to go do this. But anyway, so I gave her $500, and I was like, here, I'll pay you the rest when I get back. That way we're both, understanding. She's like, oh no, I'm just right there. And I was like, no, handshake. This is what it is. Like, I shook her hand, I shake everybody's hand. Like, that's a deal to me, right? Once you shake a hand, it's a deal.
Why do I think this is going south?
No, it went perfect.
Oh,
So
okay.
we went out to dinner. She went and picked up the keys and all that. And she's like, oh, once you left, my daughter pulled into the driveway 5 minutes later. I was like, we needed food. Our kid had to eat, she had to go to bed. And because we picked it up on a Sunday night, I think, or whatever. Or sorry, Monday, Memorial Day.
Full night.
Yeah. So then she had school Tuesday. And it worked out perfect. But I'm just saying, like, again, being me,
Mhm.
I don't think of being a shitty person. I don't think that people don't understand a handshake. People don't live by this rule.
I'm very the opposite.
Say, hey, if you're here, first one to get it, right?
I expect somebody's gonna fuck me over.
Well, I was saying, and me, like, that's why, like, I'm so used to bullying to get what I want, if that makes any sense. Because, when you put the words first come, first serve, oh, somebody's coming to look at it. Wait, you put first come, first serve, but somebody's coming to look at it. Like, which one of the two is it, right?
Yeah, I'll
Because
be there first.
I have cash in hand. This is what I have. Take my money. If it's that good of a deal, right? I have no problem being the first one there, right? I crashed my motorcycle one time for a fucking cell phone.
Well, I did that with, I was helping a friend. They were at like a small little art fair and they had a little, booth, and I was kind of helping them. And across the street, there was a garage sale. This was not long after I bought the first house I had owned back when. And, talking to them, I'm like, I go over there, I'm like, it might be something cool. And they had like one of those like little giant style ladders
Oh yeah.
in their garage sale. And I'm like, I just bought a house. I really need a ladder. I don't have any cash on me. Would you be willing to hold it, knowing that I would pay your deal? They said, they sure. Then like somebody like immediately comes behind me and they're like, we hadn't shook hands. I was still trying to work it out. And somebody said, they were there. They had they're like, could we buy it? We have the money now. Can we buy it? And the person's like, well, I'm like, you know what? They have cash in hand. You don't know me. You may not trust that I may not be able to come back with cash in like 4 hours. I'm like, I'm hoping I can, but
See,
something may come up that keeps me from coming back.
I don't have that. I mean, I guess if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I mean, right? If I get in a car crash,
I was just at a point where like I may
Nothing I
have
can
been
do.
at that thing
Right.
longer than I had planned to, or whatever.
but
I
right,
said,
like,
you know what? I'm like, take the person who will give you the money.
when I say, trust me, I say that to people all the time. Here's on a quick personal level of this type of a thing, right? Let me pull it up. So right, we all know I'm struggling with weight loss right now.
Aren't
like,
we all?
like crazy? And dude posted, hey, looking for somebody above a certain weight and blah blah blah. And I was like, hey man, seen your post about losing weight or helping lose weight. He's like, tell me your story. We're looking to help reach out to 1 or 2 people. I was like, don't waste the spot on me, man. He's like, boy, why do you say that? And I was like, because 1 or 2 people, I'd rather give them the opportunity for success, right? Because that's just how I think. Like, don't waste my spot, because if I can't think to myself that I'm going to commit 100% and I don't want to
Well,
disappoint
that's
that
the
person
hard part.
for
Is
wasting
like
that time, right?
this guy, if you don't know who he is, he could be like, well, first thing you need to do is stop drinking beer.
Well, yeah, let's say
Second thing you need to do is stop eating hot dogs.
yeah, let's say
And
which
you're
I
going to
just
be like,
bought.
you
I
know
just
what?
bought a
You
bunch of them.
just crossed my 2 lines in the sand.
Right. Oh man, I don't want to talk about sad news. So you remember I was a vegan for 9 months?
Yeah.
So I'll give Brad a shout out. Guy I used to work with, his name was Brad. It was Memorial Day. I wake up and his sister had posted. I don't know his sister. She said, brother, you're the best big brother I had, blah, blah. So I'm assuming it's a sister. It's an assumption.
Yeah.
Pictures of, and so he apparently took his life, and
Mm.
that is really hard for us because, right? I mean, we are very much about this type of
Yeah,
thing.
we talk mental health a lot.
Yeah.
And suicide prevention. Yeah.
And for me, it's like, man, like whether people understand it or not, like I will take a bet. And I happen to be a vegan. It was a 1 month bet, and it turned into 9 months. But like Brad and I were close enough into that aspect of things. Like I enjoyed him as a person. I know he had a drinking problem,
Mhm.
right? He had other issues, things like that. But like, granted, I don't know. It's like part of me has to think, man, I lost my job from Gentile. I wasn't there to help in any way. Man, if I would have made the different decisions in my life, could I have helped out? And it's tough, right? So then, I look at it as I take on a lot of responsibility for things I shouldn't have to and
Mhm.
things, but I guess I know we're not making that about this episode, but guys, really, if you're struggling as a person, if you're struggling in any way, whether it's, I mean, I told you I'm struggling with weight loss. I'm not in a suicidal aspect of things. I'm not in any part. It's just a thing I actually have finally chosen to want to work on, but not want enough sitting here drinking a
Right.
hit ton of beer. And,
Yeah.
but you got to have that want. But like, if you're struggling with something and you just need to talk to somebody, the three of us on here are definitely a Facebook message away. Twitter, if you have our personal cell phone numbers, contact us. I mean, dude, we've hit up people on Twitch, right? Live, and we've emailed back and they've joined us on episodes. We've walked through, like, when we say this, we mean it from the bottom of our heart, and we're actually 100% for it, right? So
Is there a way, like on the website, you could like make it where like if people wanted on the Bucks and Brews website to reach out through any channel, whether it's just like you said, like thing that goes to like then the three of us, and one of us could be like, hey, yeah, we'll talk
I
to
mean,
you.
we have our links on there, but I could probably find a way to just have a direct message to us.
right. Saying I'll ask my IT guy, David. So, but
The IT guy's
anyway.
sitting next to you.
but
Well, I mean, you bring up a good point because, like, I've been super exhausted the last couple weeks, and I had therapy today, and I talked to Angela, and she goes, "Okay, what are you going to do to fix it? Maybe it's time to go somewhere else. Maybe, talk with Cleveland Clinic." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not spending that kind of money because my insurance is going to pay for that. They're going to pay for stuff here." And of course, if you go to a specialist, you're jumping through hoops and it's costing a shit ton of money. And I still got 10 grand I'm paying off for when I try to die.
yeah,
I'm not looking to rack up a bunch of fucking medical bills. I'm just not.
right.
I think the hard part is you're still exhausted, but does some of that go away in a year if you do pull
Stop
away
coaching?
from softball for a
I mean,
couple weeks?
It's possible, but again,
Well, no, some of it is after effect of
well,
until
yeah, and
trying to die
softball's
in the hospital.
right, and softball's only part of the story. I mean, I can't imagine when we're done playing in a couple weeks that I'm magically gonna find, the fountain of youth and be feeling great by the beginning of July. I'm still gonna be exhausted because
No. I know that because you need more than a couple of months of low keyness to be able to do it.
when I'm always
Definitely.
taking on so much. I mean, even like
Yeah.
Friday's a good example. We didn't have practice. I had literally nothing to do, but I'm not good with nothing to do. So I messaged Mikey. I'm like, "Hey, what are you doing? You want to get a beer?" And he goes, "I'd love to get a beer after work." So then we messaged Mike and we're like, "Hey, we're gonna go to get a beer after work. You want to get a beer?" And he goes, "Yeah, where are we going?" So I drove down to Apoptosis, which was the second time I went down there that day
Oh wow,
because I had to go down for my battery in the morning.
sure.
So I made 2 trips down to, Plainwell / Kalamazoo, Portage really, on
You just
Friday.
start like working from like my house when you know you're gonna be like coming down to Kalamazoo.
Yeah, seriously. And Saturday I ended up going into work because Dawn was shorthanded, and I guess she had told me at one point she wasn't planning on me, but I didn't hear that part.
Mm.
So I'm texting Mike on how exhausted I am, and she doesn't understand while she's sitting there in the other room going, "Just go home." And of course, I'm not listening to any of that shit either because I'm just having my own fucking pity party.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you know how it is. And again, I'm just so fucking tired. I don't want to do anything. Like today, I was hoping you'd want to go early.
I forgot to get my contractor's money.
Oh shit.
So you guys,
Yeah,
talk.
you talk. Go give him a call. But anyways, yeah, I was hoping Nick would go early, and he's like, "Yeah, I can go at 4. Perfect." Because that gives me the ability, to when we're
Maybe
done
be in
with
bed
this.
by like 7.
And I won't.
No,
But literally, when I go home, I can just lay there and stare at nothing, which helps. I mean, it really does.
yeah, it does.
So,
Any sort of true wind down where you don't have to think about what you have to next
yeah.
is relaxing.
Well, like tomorrow, I have to ride the bus, which sucks, but also doesn't, because I can relax on the bus because it's only the girls going. He's got it
Like
all.
you have to.
Well, he's got the all conference meeting in Spring Lake, and we're playing in Mona tomorrow.
Oh, so tomorrow's just kind of more a random
Right.
extended
So,
game.
yeah, we just picked up something, so they were still playing, and
Oh, that's
you know,
good.
that-
I mean,
it
you
gives
can
me
get in
the-
shape.
yeah, it gives me the opportunity. I only have to drive to Coopersville. If I want to nap on the bus, I can, because it's probably going to be a 30-40 minute drive. And it's just the girls, so I don't mind riding the bus because I don't have to deal with baseball. You know, so hopefully that will be a little bit more relaxing than what I'm normally used to. Because again, an hour drive for a game is exhausting because that's 2 hours on the road.
Yep.
Nick, I got a one you're gonna love.
Yeah,
Dawn did a podcast yesterday.
good.
And I'm like, so how'd the podcast go? She goes, well, at the beginning, I don't really think anybody knew what they wanted because I was kind of directing things myself. And I went,
Yeah.
oh. So she's telling me how it's going, and it sounds like, you know, it was a little
Off
chaotic.
topic.
Sure.
Yeah. And I'm like, so you think we're a little bit better at this now? And you know what she says? No, not a bit. Because once we figured out what we were talking about, we stayed on topic. And I'm like, yeah, we've been staying on topic too. You wouldn't know because you don't listen. She goes, I listen more than you think. And I'm thinking to myself, obviously you don't, because we've stayed on topic quite a bit lately.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are things that have come up that might have caused things to get actually listened.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
So
So I mean, you know, I still don't, you and I both, we don't get any love from our loved ones about doing this. And luckily we don't do it for them. I mean, honestly, we really only do it for ourselves.
yeah,
It's great to help people out. We absolutely love that. That jazzes us up. But again, if nobody wants to listen, you and I still find a release coming on here every week, talking for a couple hours, spilling our bullshit.
yep. And say gets us a couple beers, gets us to
But
see.
it's good to throw a mental health aspect into the day. Officially, it's the last day of May, so it's officially the last day of Mental Health Month. I know this won't post until June, but still,
Well, yeah, absolutely.
you can officially say this is May 31st, 2023.
And well, you know, I say we've gone 20 minutes now without talking about our topic. I mean, we've brought it up, but never talked about it. So
You want to dive into that and then we'll go back to the other shit?
yeah,
Okay.
debt
So,
ceiling.
We have a tentative agreement between Biden and good old Kev,
Yeah.
who's an idiot.
Mr.
Yeah, but even the
Speaker of the House.
Oh, shit,
Even the
wasted
guy
me.
that, you know, that Nick was talking about from that radio station, he basically saying they're all idiots and
Yeah,
he's not
they all
even-
are.
pointing strictly at like the Democrats since he's more conservative leaning. He's basically
Oh.
saying they're all idiots.
What politician, Mike, do you trust? Right.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
nobody.
Yeah,
Same. I don't trust any of them. There are some I trust more than others, but you know, that's like saying I trust the bear not to bite my face off more than I trust the shark not to eat me.
Yeah.
6 and 1/2 dozen of the other, you still get fucked.
You know, I think we should do two totally different episodes. Say, I want to take that on so many tangents.
hey,
But
that's the only.
yeah,
Sorry,
the
as
deal.
I cough.
I'm enjoying this this peach.
The head there.
Brandon and Kevin have a
Tentative agreement. So
tentative agreement.
first off, there will not be another debt ceiling limit discussion until January of 2025, which puts us past the next election cycle,
Mhm.
which I think is a huge win for not only the Democrats, but also for us as people, because we don't have to deal with this bullshit for a year and a half. Just kind of nice. They didn't put an actual number on it. A lot of times they put a number, they just put a date.
I'd like to know.
At
I'd
this
like to
point, it's
know
more
how many
because
of the
they're
average
hoping that they will.
Americans are listening, or give a crap about it, right? Like, how many are actually in tune to what's going on?
Very few.
And that's what I'm I'm wondering, right? Like, I don't know if, because the people that we hang around with for the most part, I mean, it's kind of a topic that we kind of talk about.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is.
even my friends that aren't political in any way, like, I still tend to bring it up. And, granted, they either shake their head like they, yes, or, but
Yeah, and they really don't
Well,
know.
Right.
Anybody who fully understands what a default on that means
yeah,
is thinking about it and talking about it.
Yeah,
There
but
are that's probably still only 5-10% of the total population.
okay, again, Nick has said time and time again, you're an amalgamation of the 5 people you hang out with the most.
Yep.
So for me, the 5 people I hang out with the most are you, probably Jim. I would probably say Steve, and probably Chris. Okay, and
But
all
still,
of them,
in most cases, these are people who are kind of paying attention to.
yeah, they all have a money background, really. I mean, Steve ran his own business. Chris runs his money a lot like I run my money.
does it really?
He does. He is very. He's a combination of me and you.
Okay.
So like he still balances his checkbooks and sits down every month and writes out checks and shit.
Yeah,
Whereas I don't do any of that shit.
sure.
But he watches
But he
every
knows exactly
penny.
what's in an account at any time.
Absolutely, he does. So I mean, when we look at the 5 people I hang out with the most, they all have a pretty good idea of what the debt ceiling is.
Sure.
But you take it to that next level of 5 people, and we're talking to people like Mikey,
Yeah.
has no fucking idea whatsoever. You could probably throw my wife into that. She has a vague understanding, but not a great understanding.
Caitlin, right?
Caitlin, right?
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you go to that next layer, these people don't really know. They sit there and they'll hear things like, "Well, we need to cut spending." My mother's a good example of this. We need to cut spending,
Say,
and she's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
we do need to cut spending." I'm like, "That's not what it has to do with.
Yeah.
Spending is not a part of the debt ceiling
Yeah,
conversation."
this isn't
because,
even like the one that happens every other year or so, which
Right.
is government shutdown or whatever.
correct. This is literally okay. We agreed 2 years ago to pay all of these bills, and now we've hit the ceiling, so we can't pay the bills if we don't increase it.
Yep.
The bills that we already committed to paying.
Yep.
It's not cutting anything that we're going to future pay.
and say, I know we're going to dive into it, but we didn't use all of our COVID money,
Right.
right? And they're fighting about what to do with that money.
Right.
Like, wait, it was intended for something. You didn't use it for something. Like, why do we have to use it for something else? Like, we shouldn't have more money. It didn't. Congrats, you stayed under budget. Like, that's a fucking win.
remember that.
See, and
Like,
I think the thing that pisses me off about the COVID money thing is
Yeah.
the Republicans just want it to go back.
I like your
Right.
outfit too.
I'm thrilled with it just going back.
yeah,
But they want it to go back and then repurpose it probably to the
Yeah.
military. Whereas,
Something,
whereas the Democrats want to use it for social
Themselves.
programs, which I also understand.
well, and I'd love to. You know what? Because Mike likes debates.
Mhm.
I'd love to have this conversation.
Mhm.
First, let me tell you how smart I am. 7 years ago, I love Facebook for memories, but
Yeah.
it told me financial tip. Me putting financial tip. This would be $4 and brews before you and I
Right.
talk. It says financial tip: track your spending and create a budget! Exclamation point!
Hey, look at
And a
that.
quote. And I was like, man, I used to have some knowledge.
Yeah.
That's
But
like
here we go.
7 years ago. You posted your basically what's your mantra, bucks and brews.
Right. So one of the things I agree and you disagree with. So Republican side, I'm taking their side. Loan forgiveness, okay, for
Right.
student loans. But there's one thing that's going to be halted, which I am fine with, right? I'm you can say what you want, like they're not stopping it.
Actually,
they're just
they're not-
halting it.
They're not doing anything with it. It did not get put in the debt ceiling negotiations. It will go to the Supreme Court.
Right. So it's being delayed on talks.
Right.
They're delaying the talks until after summer, from what I quickly heard. Again, I just was listening
yeah.
on my way here, and
Well, my opinion on
sure, I officially am believing what I heard, but from my quick understanding, I don't want to take a spam call. From what I'm understanding, like they're just stopping the talks, and I'm like, great, like because that's not priority right now.
It's definitely
These
not.
people need to understand, like it's not been debt, it's not whatever. If you wanted to throw in your 2 seconds of hey, give them 6 more months of not having to make your payment, I don't give a shit at this moment.
So before I came here, I'm listening to a podcast.
Yeah.
And one of the people on the podcast is a teacher.
Yep.
Who took out $52,000 worth of debt to get her teaching degree.
Okay.
And it was sold to her that if you taught in Florida public schools for 10 years,
Mhm.
your debt would be forgiven.
Mhm.
She has now taught for 13.
Yep.
Her $52,000 student loan that she took out, you want to know what it costs today?
She hasn't probably been making any payments.
She's been
on it.
making payments monthly.
minimum.
She's been, making whatever the minimum monthly payment is every month
$145,000.
for 13 years.
See, and here's where
$145,000.
How much, Mike?
145.
145, really? For 13 years, she's only been making the minimum. See, here's where we're both going to agree. This shouldn't be it. But if you're asking what I think it is, now knowing a little bit more numbers,
I'm going with, and I'm going with.
I'm
what I
gonna
think
go.
it is
I'm gonna go
based-
83,000.
You're both wrong.
Okay.
102.
Okay.
about-
So she's been making these
slightly
payments
She's
for
been ma-
13 years, and the amount has doubled, but it was supposed to be forgiven 3 years ago.
and that's where you and I completely agree, right? Your interest should not do what is your minimum payments should instantly hit these principles and not go like
They should not be getting rich off of fucking 18-year-old students. And that's what they're doing. And that's the problem I have.
I don't care how you get rich in the sense of as long as it doesn't become predatory, right? I gotta say
that's
that
part of
correctly,
being the
right?
predatories. They're
Like,
getting rich off of
Again,
it.
if you borrow 40 and you're paying interest, now your interest needs to be, but like you need to make, and so here's the other problem is they're allowing people. So when you're doing the math, you're like, hey, this is your minimum payment, but their minimum payment isn't calculated correctly, in my opinion,
Correct.
because your minimum payment should be the amount to make sure you're going lower than what your
Correct,
principal payment is.
But they do that.
They're just allowing.
Credit card
So
minimum
let's say you're
payments
getting
aren't even that.
7%, they're doing 3% of a thing and still putting on 4% of the added. They shouldn't be doing that, right? It needs to automatically keep going down on this thing. So what needs to happen is they need to step in and fix that. The debt aspect, I don't think should be washed away. The way the debt is written and how it's happening should be, right?
Yeah, but everybody, I can't say everybody, the majority of people that have student loan debt
Mhm.
are perfectly fine with paying their debt back. They don't want to pay 3 times their interest back.
And that's exactly it, right?
And that's the problem we have. And again, when you look at these loans people take out, Mike will run into this if his kids go to college. My daughter, for semester after semester, had to
Sign off.
work hard to decline student loans because they automatically gave them to her.
Oh, mine was given to me and I didn't realize. I mean, I guess I
It's
realized it because
insane.
they're just like, hey, this is fine. And I was like, whatever, I'll just pay it. Because I guess it probably was presented to me and I'm stupid. I gotta stop saying that. I'm actually kind of smart. I'm just too lazy to care. But right, they're like, hey, you could just pay it later or whatever. And I'm like, fine, I'll just pay it later because it's the only way apparently to get money at this point. Because I was too naive to figure out how else to go get money. I knew my mom wasn't signing on anything. I knew that. So this is the only way. Great, make it happen. I'll pay it as I can. And I paid mine throughout the time, right? Like again, I was working a job, just like, hey, chunk down on these things. So to not get it, that's a problem. But again, they need to go back and talk about this and say, hey, stop this predatory. I'm going to call it predatory because there's no way. All right. So in my house, I have 30 years. Okay. And current interest rates probably have changed, but let's just say I pay stupid numbers, $100,000 for my house. At the end of that, we all know that we're signing a loan for $210,000,
Yep.
right?
They
But
show
the
it many
difference
places.
is when you take
But-
out a mortgage, the minute you sign all that paperwork, you're given the keys to your house. When you
Mm-hmm.
take out a student loan, you're taking out a loan
But you're
with the hope to be like the end is the degree. And when
No,
I was
well,
a kid-
not
you're
only
given
that,
the keys to go to class. That's where you're.
well,
but
no, but in
not
general,
only
like,
that-
when I was going to school, I didn't take out like loans, but it was literally different in the fact of when those loans did not start getting interest until I graduated. So it was basically no different than you're not required to make payments until you have that keys to your house in hand.
right, and they made that huge overhaul of interest now starts the day you take it out. But in addition to that, you sign on a mortgage,
Mhm.
you have an end date.
Yeah.
You will make payments every month for 30 years, and you're
Yes.
done then, you own your house.
Correct.
And if you make extra payments, then maybe you're dropping it down to 15 or 20.
But and the problem with student loan is you're not guaranteed a job. You're not
You're
guaranteed.
guaranteed nothing.
You're not
You're
guaranteed.
guaranteed the opportunity to go to class.
Exactly. And I don't want to. and we'll do it as me. Like, you're not guaranteed that my wife's going to go make a bunch of money and I'm going to be able to be a stay-home dad, right? Or the opposite, right? The wife becomes a stay-at-home mom because the husband goes and makes enough because their life changed. Oh, I don't need to use my degree. This person did fine, but you're not promised anything, and so that's what it kind of bothers me because, again, coming from nothing's fucking promised to me. If I was told my whole life, if you work hard, they'll promote you, right? I mean, I worked in a fucking company that I worked hard. They're like, man, if you go back to school, we can give you this next promotion and blah, blah. No, like, I shouldn't have to do more. On this thing, it says this, or 5 years of experience. And I now have 10 years in your company. Like, give this to me. I've earned it. I've showed up every day. I have zero fucking time. I didn't use any personal days until I was going to get fired, right? Like, then I used all 7, but like 10 years of perfect attendance, 10 years of being the greatest employee that anybody could ask for. Oh, I volunteered for overtime. I worked every Saturday. I did all of the stuff that a normal human should, in theory, do and to be successful. And I didn't make it past
the
anything.
Same argument these fucking boomers have in my day.
Yeah.
In your day, the rules were fucking different. Okay.
Oh.
You didn't have to have a college education to get a decent fucking job. And now, even if you have a college education, you can't get a decent fucking job. The only decent job is to go and dig a ditch. That's a decent job because they'll pay you decent to go do that.
Oh shit, because they realize that nobody's going to go.
Nobody wants to do
But
it.
here's what I will tell you. I'm going to call it. I don't want to say the business. I don't, because it's not anybody I'm associated with. It's a parent of my daughter's class. We were talking what he does for a living. And he said, look, you used to have a 4-year degree to be an account manager for this company. And it's a big fucking company, right? And he goes, like, last month or 2 months ago, they officially changed it. So you do not have to get, he goes, or you can have work experience. And I said, that's amazing. That's what it should be. That's how it should. Like, we talked about me offering my niece stuff, right? I want my niece to come work for me. Like, think about it. You can put in vice president of sales, vice president of marketing. You can put in buyer. You can do whatever. Like, you're the buyer. Yeah, you're going to go source all this stuff. So when you go make your resume, you're going to go, I worked for Hipster Nation, and this is what it is, and this is what I like.
And I would fully.
When I put in my own personal resume, is like, yep, owner of Nick Watkins LLC, Hipster Nation. Oh, I was vice president. Oh, really? The vice president? Yeah, my wife owned the fucking company. I'm not like, no, right. So how many employees did you guys have? Well, I sourced out through these many people, and they're my employees, right? Plain and simple. I'm not going to sit here and play this game. Like, look, I've earned it. I know what I'm doing. I know how to do it. So congrats. I educated myself, but now I'm going to prove it to you how I've done it. Well,
Unfortunately, sometimes you do have to put that extra. But like, even at my job, a little over a year ago, when they were kind of, putting people in, like, just giving like different job titles, putting people in different bands of, like, where they're at. And they even said, like, they're like, there's a point where, the PhD or the master's helps get your foot in the door a little higher. If you get past a certain year of experience, it doesn't matter whether you're a PhD, a master's, a bachelor's, or you really only have a high school degree. Once you have that much experience, that's what clients look for. Is they look for somebody who has enough experience and to direct them. Because a person fresh out of college may not be able to do it.
When I took my job at the property management company, I asked for 3 things, right? I always tell people I asked for 2, but I asked for 3, right? One was I get to wear sandals whatever time I want. I get to wear shorts, shorts and sandals. I get to have unlimited days off. When everybody be like, oh, that's not whatever. And the third one was that my title was executive regional manager of maintenance, right? I was the executive regional manager. Oh, because when you walk in and you say, hey, oh, what'd you do for them? Oh, I'm the executive regional manager. Oh, you had a whole region. Because we had St. John's, we had this. Yeah. How many regions do you guys have? Well, I mean, I manage all the regions. That's why I'm the executive, right? But I also had a I had a maintenance guy over here. I had a manager over here. I had this, and yeah, I'm dealing with all of them. So yes, that's my title. So now when I walk into a place, oh, what was your past history? Oh, I was the executive regional manager. That's what I did. Oh, great. Okay. Like, so now it sounds prestigious. And guess what? When they call, oh, hey, was this guy the executive regional manager? Well, he was our maintenance guy. Oh, okay. Right. Like, no. Yeah, well, this is my title. When I call, like, this is, I can sue because you didn't say this was my title. It was legally written.
Right.
You know? Granted, I hope I don't have to go get a job, but it's all those things that you have to go negotiate for.
Well, you know, I look at job listings a lot because I'm always looking to maybe leverage something for more money where I'm at.
Yep.
And you would be, you probably wouldn't be surprised at the amount of companies that want a master's degree and they're paying 12 to 18 bucks an hour. And it's like, you expect somebody to go get a $150,000 degree and you're going to pay them the same that McDonald's is paying.
Well, that's that's the thing. Like, okay, so everybody dogs on McDonald's, right? And okay,
Yeah.
McDonald's. I have no problem McDonald's being a minimum wage job. Okay, one thing I like about McDonald's, from what I've seen, and is the promotion from within inside. Like, I have watched people come from cashier to cook, or to fries, to cook, to manager, or assistant manager, to night manager, to a GM, right? It's building your reputation, building yourself up there. And so I like that aspect.
Well, and they want a dog on it. Anybody that gets hired at McDonald's for minimum wage, that's great.
Nope.
They shouldn't stay at minimum wage.
And that's the problem, is when they get their promotions, their promotion comes from 7 to 9. When it's like, nah, man, like, that this is paying. If you walked in as a manager, you're gonna make, my favorite thing that I've always seen, and this is what has always bothered me, is the fact that you're willing to accept it. Okay. So hiring closing managers, $40,000 to $60,000. Okay. What does that tell you?
That tells me they better be paying me $60,000.
That's exactly it. You're willing to spend 60.
That's what I'm worth.
Hoping and praying that you'll find somebody that's willing to just take it for 40,
right,
because you've saved your company 20,000 because you brought in decent enough quality to get yourself this. No. You're looking for 40 to. What is your desired wage? And I'll be honest, I used to always put 59,000 because I'd take that 1,000 less, because then I'm going to ask for something stupid like another week of vacation.
See, and with me, when I'm applying to these jobs, mind you, I've not gotten one interview in the last year since I got my degree. When I'm applying to these jobs, if they say they're paying, because I won't look at anything under 80. They say they're paying 80. My salary request is 90.
Sure.
Because that's what I'm worth.
Right, because I mean, if you want the basic, and that's the whole quiet quitting thing. We do all these episodes, we talk about all this stuff, but I get so annoyed with watching people going, well, 40,000 is a decent wage.
No, it's not.
Could you just say, like,
It's
they're going to
not.
pay 60,
But 40,000 is not a decent wage anymore.
I tell you, when I took Gentex, right, I actually took a pay cut. Things people don't know. I was making $10.50 an hour at a really, really, really physical labor job. Okay. They didn't hire me in within it was 6 months comes. They were supposed to hire me. They didn't hire me in anytime sooner. And during that time, I went to Gentex, and everybody, because temp companies in Kent County was way different than temps out there. And so when you got a temp, you never actually got hired in. And so I was going to get hired in, but I took Gentex. Gentex goes, hey, we start at 10. And after 60 days, you're guaranteed $1. So you're at 11. I was like, okay. Well, somebody else had gotten hired in at the company I was at, and they got 11, they got their 50-cent raise when they got hired in. And so then the boss gave me my 2 weeks, and he's like, you could have come to me, you could have talked. I would have given you the same thing. I would have given you the $11 right then. And I was like, no, I asked you 2 months ago when I was getting hired in, you said your time will come type thing. You didn't want me. You didn't say I was ready to be this. Like, I went and found the person that said, hey, let's go. Right. He goes, I heard you're taking a pay cut. And I was like, sure am. But they've promised me at this mark, and come to find out, like, I got hired 40 days and, type of thing. Like, it was very, very quick. When I got hired in, I actually got my promotion in my other job. So I got the 11, instantly went up to 1370, like within that first week of official hire, because I went to a level D, did a bunch of other things, blah, blah, blah. So, I hit very lucky streaks in there, but the company should be just guaranteeing that, hey, we're bringing these types of things. If you ever work for a company that has a max out on how much you're allowed to get, like you get 3%. That's absolutely stupid, right?
Yep. Because,
I don't believe that the person making $10 and the person making 20, you're putting that gap there, right? So 30%, that's 30 cents versus 60 cents. Now, because he's making more, he gets more. well, he's been here longer. No, it's not true. It's not always. I actually was making more working less because I got hired at a higher wage.
Right.
And I don't know if I've shared that story. When I got my $13.70, we were sitting in the break room talking about, oh, hey, Nick, oh, you got hired, you got your level D, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. How much you making? How much you making? Oh, $13.70. What the fuck? I've been here 7 years and I'm making $13.45 or sorry, 55, whatever it was, 15-cent difference.
Yeah.
So then they all blew up. It went to HR, did all this. They prorated that 15 cents per hour for the past like 6 months to make it even for everybody. Kind of like, oh, we changed our rate this. And so everybody ended up getting like $200 and they're like, but then they ended up just putting them where I was.
Right.
So I was like, you've been here 5 years and you're just now making what I make, So like, so I'm saying it's not true. The longer you've been there, the more you make. Literally just catching whatever, right? I mean, go in, somebody could walk in. I know my wife has had that, right? She got hired in. 2 years later, somebody gets hired in and is actually making more than she is. And I was like, fucking quit and go back and reapply and tell them, hey, look, I'm quitting, but I'm going to reapply for my same job just so that you can pay me what the hell she's making. If not, but I also want more because now I have more experience.
Right.
And they're like, well, we can't do that. No, you clearly can. You clearly fucking
You're
can.
doing that right fucking now.
So, and I don't know, you got to learn to have, it's funny because everybody thinks that a company controls them and owns them, and they do, which sucks because you get comfortable in your own body. You get comfortable in your own, I need to feed my family. I need to do this. And we're raised as machines. We really are. Like, you have to do, but man, if I found out that I worked at a company for 5 years and I was making 15 cents less than me, shit, I would have, no. If you only offered to bring me up to that point, I would have been like, no, I want an extra 50 cents on top of that. Fuck you, I'm gone.
Well, again, how often are we just told to comply? We're told that as kids all the time.
Mhm.
Oh, Billy pulled your hair, Susie. Well, you should just deal with it. It's not a big deal. And our answer as a dad is turn around and kick him in the balls.
Yep.
And then when they call us in and we're going to go, well, what did he do? Well, he pulled my hair. What did you do? I kicked him in the balls. Good job. Let's go get ice cream.
Let's go get ice cream, baby.
And the principal will look at you like you're the worst fucking person in the world. No, there are consequences to your fucking actions. If he's going to continue to pull my daughter's hair, she's going to kick him in the fucking balls. He's going to figure out real quick, if I do A, B is going to happen. I should not do A.
No, and that's just it, right? Like, can't guarantee I'm going to tell my kid to kick another kid, but call them all the names you want, right? Don't fucking touch, I swear, don't fucking touch my shit. I'm gonna do this, right? And I don't think that should be happening.
Like, you as a girl, if a boy is doing something to you you don't like, you should be able to punch him in the face without repercussion.
Very true.
See?
And my daughter even agrees.
Agreed. Well, and you look at it again. These are
But I
the
think it should go both ways.
absolutely.
So,
These are the issues I have. Like, for me, much like you, my time off is not a request.
oh, dude, those
My
are
time
favorite
off.
stories.
My time off is me giving you the heads up that I will not be there. If you tell me, well, I don't know if we can improve that, there's a really good chance that I quit.
Well, and that's, so I know so many people that don't, right? And here, like, I remember thinking to myself, oh shit, what am I going to do? But I worked at a company called Kenco Logistics. Fuck them, piece of shits. And I remember my wife and I were going to get married. Here I'm making $12 and something cents an hour, nothing. And I was like, hey, I need this time off. My wife and I are going on our honeymoon. We're getting married. Instead of saying congrats, I hope it goes well. Instead of doing this, well, we don't know if we can get the coverage. That's not my fucking problem. Don't make that a me problem. That sounds like it's a you problem, your company's problem. Well, we hired you for this position. Okay. And when I leave, what are you going to do? We'll hire somebody else. Great. But like back then, in my head, I was like, man, well, should I ask my wife if we should not go on vacation? Like, looking back, those thoughts should never be put into somebody's head. That those are the only options you have is
No,
go make that money.
there are days like I will ask for, like, I'm like, I kind of want the day off, but I, also know that I really don't need anything. As long as I'm out by 1, I'm good.
Yeah.
If you tell me, you need to be in the morning, I'm like, I'm perfectly fine with that, but realize after 1, I'm not going to be available.
Oh yeah, we've
are,
had those days. Trust me.
Those are fine.
Again, when I used to work at 3. So then a baseball game would be at 11 at the Whitecaps or whatever. And I'm like, hey, a couple of us take a half day. And if they say no, whatever. Yes, we want to go. But like, well, make sure your job's done. Make sure this is this. Great, man. Like, all right, see you. Have a good day.
Well, again, I'm never leaving the company in a lurch when I do this.
Right.
but I know you can replace me for a day, for a week. Shit happens. I told this story on air before. I worked for Circuit City for 4 hours.
Yeah.
They did two things that pissed me off. One, if a customer refuses your help, they're stealing. Fuck you, motherfucker. I refuse people's help all the time. I don't want anybody to bother me. You come and ask me if I'm good. Do you need help? No, I don't need any help. Go away.
And there might be a reason why Circuit City's out of business.
There might be. Number two, it was a June day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I got a concert the beginning of September. They're like, yeah, you're gonna have to cancel plans. We don't give any time off on the weekends. I'm like, sweet, I'm out. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
I quit.
That's what
and they were blown away. They called me a week later and offered me a different position. No, I already quit. Fuck you.
That's what I did the same thing when I was youth leading, right? I walked into a temp company. I was like, hey, I need a week off in 4 months. I already know I'm doing this. And oh yeah, it should be no big deal. So I get in there and I was like, hey, told the boss, I was like, look, I'm taking this time off. Well, no, we don't give temps time off. We don't do. Look, I'm taking a week off. If I see you when I get back, awesome. If not, it was a great time meeting you. I will finish out, but I'm leaving in 2 weeks to go do a 1 week youth camp. Well, let me see what I can do. Okay, and then
Well, the funny part is if that
how
when you're
long
a
back
temp,
later. Hey, you know what? You got it off. I can't believe you got it off. What do you mean you can't fucking believe? Like,
I just wasn't gonna be here.
right? Like again, if I see you when I get back, awesome. If not, it was a great time working with you. Like, I'm not at. You know what? I sound like George Bush. I'm not going to negotiate with terrorists, right? Like, you're invading my life at this point. I'm telling you, this is what I'm doing.
What were you gonna say, Mike? And then I got a good story.
Mike was going to say,
it's
"Ha!"
literally going to be like, yeah, literally. I'm like, well, I mean, like temp wise, usually, I mean, they're usually like, we don't give you time off. So if it's like, hey, I'm not going to be here, the only thing they don't have to pay you.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly and that's what when I went into the job, when I talked about getting unlimited time off, I don't need paid, right? I didn't. All I'm telling you is when I'm going on vacation, I'm going on vacation. But so, and then that was it. Like the problem is again, Kent County, you don't get hired in. Okay, let me be clear about that. I worked for Steelcase multiple times. You can work for like 1 year and then you have to take time off. The second year, you have to take more time off before you can get rehired.
In a couple of minutes.
And granted, this was 2008, 9, 10. The economy's absolute crap, blah, blah, blah. Then Steelcase did a little hiring. I didn't get picked. Completely fine. But
Probably using
and then I went and worked at Kellogg's, right?
Yeah.
Nobody has ever gotten hired in as a temp from Kellogg's, right? You have to go to the job fair and then they hire enough. And so knowing that, like, it's funny because you walk in, you're like, hey, when do we get hired in? When do we get hired in? No, nobody gets hired in. Okay, great. So I'm gonna be here for this little period of time. That was the lowest paying job I've ever had. It was $8.25 an hour. But I worked 12-hour days. I just did whatever the heck it took. Because at the time it was like, great, you guys found me a job and this is what it is. I have no problem going back to finding something. Trust me, I'm thinking about going to pick up some day labor stuff just for shits and giggles to see how much I can negotiate to get myself.
I mean, we talked before. I sold filter queens.
Yep.
Now, when I lived in Illinois,
I attempted to do that too.
Every summer, we would buy a weekend series to a Cubs game, anywhere from 3 to 6 games. Okay,
as you should.
And Mike was living with us at this point because he was also trying to sell filter queens, and I had a 4-game weekend series coming up. And they're like, well, you can't be off for that. And I'm like, all right, well, if I'm off Saturday and Sunday, I'll give up my tickets on Thursday and Friday.
Yep.
And they're like, yeah, I don't know if you can do that. I don't think that's going to be possible.
Yeah.
And they pissed me off so much that I literally just didn't fucking show up.
Yeah.
And they started blowing up my house phone on Thursday.
Yeah.
And I just let it go to voicemail because I drove to the fucking Cubs game and I went 4 straight days to Cubs games. And I showed back up for Monday at work.
Mm-hmm.
And they acted like nothing ever happened. Because guess what? They weren't going to fire me.
Well, that
and I was willing to give up
it's not
half
like you
of
were
my
ever
games.
guaranteed appointments.
Right.
Well, that was my favorite was working. So when you did it, right? I don't know if you were, but right, I was strictly commission.
Strictly commission. What they told you was if you were available for X number of appointments a month, which
Yeah.
I want to say was something crazy like 45.
Yeah.
If you were available, they would pay you a minimum of $1,300 for the month.
Yeah.
But available meant they had to actually have those appointments for you to do.
Yep.
And they never had that many.
No, because you had to go find the appointments,
Yes.
right? And so that's the whole point, is you have to go do
No,
it.
they had a group that would actually.
They did have groups that
They-
called, but you'd get one or two a day.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you'd have to work 7 days.
I gotta
And
take
tho-
off to get my son to.
All right,
so-
we'll see you in a bit.
See, Mike. And
And even with those, Nick, like if you were getting them, you were getting like a 5:30 and an 8 p.m.
yeah, of course.
But you had to be in at like 9 in the morning.
No, I trust me. I did the same thing.
Right. So you just sat there all day.
Well, I didn't. I mean, honestly, it was like, hey, go sell your family, go do this, and then they're like, all right, go knock doors.
Yeah, we did that too.
So, oh, hey, we're gonna take a van of you guys, and we're gonna go knock doors. Okay, great. And then oh, hey, I didn't make any sales. Well, the average person sells 1 out of 10 at bare minimum. That's a bad salesman. Oh, okay, so I'm bad. And then I ended up selling. I'd never would, but like the people, like my buddy was a you or a Mike, right? Who just couldn't sell, and we're just like,
See, and I sold great.
but like you're just gonna sit there and just gonna go, oh, okay. Like here, I have to show you this vacuum, and you know what I'm saying, like just the very basic. And so I'm like, wait, how did he get? Well, he didn't do his showings. No, he did all of them. We knocked doors. I watched him walk into more houses because people trusted him way more than they trusted me, right? But that's the whole thing is, man, and then they charge you for shampoo, and then they charge you. Oh well, no, there's a rental cost, and
Right.
No, you know what? Like here's this, take it, shove it. Yeah, I don't know. That might be slander or something. So the guy I used to work for, he closed his.
If it's true, it's not slander.
So Dale Church, used to sell Kirby's out of Wyoming. His business closed. It is now a Pride center in Wyoming.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely think it's hilarious. And my favorite was he's like, oh, I got this, and he'd whip out cash and oh, I got this Corvette and blah blah. You never seen him once drive a Corvette, but he always drove his Lincoln STS, and it was it was fine. It wasn't new, right? It was funny to me. And then the fact is he's a used car sale. He might be a new car salesman. Again, I have to make sure about facts. He's a newer used car salesman with a friend of mine that I know, and I was like, that's hilarious, right? Like, dude, you're sitting here telling me that you're a big star, big shot, big everything, but all you did was screw people. You were literally the epitome of a car salesman, of what everybody thinks a used car salesman sleazily is, right?
Well, I mean, we're selling $1,800 vacuums.
Yeah.
As somebody that sold an $1,800 vacuum, I can tell you right now, there is no fucking vacuum worth $1,800.
It's funny because we don't have carpet anymore, but my wife would never buy one. But I could find a used Kirby and I think Kirby's are great. I think they're great vacuums. I don't know about the Rainbow or whatever. Filter Queen. I don't know. But if you do research, the Electrolux with the canister is the best vacuum that's ever been created. It's the best everything. I found one for like really cheap and she still wouldn't buy it. And I was like, hands down, it's voted the best vacuum. Popular Science did it, like all these types of things. And I was like, you still don't want one? I was like, what's your problem? Well, sleazy people sell them. And if it's sleazy people, I was like, no, like real people actually have done research on these things.
I know somebody that has owned both a Filter Queen and a Kirby.
Yeah.
And my mother,
yeah,
who is the person,
of course,
will tell you hands, and mind you, she did not buy the Kirby. It was given to her.
Sure.
She will tell you hands down.
Yeah.
The Filter Queen was her favorite vacuum.
It's probably lighter.
It definitely was lighter, and it just seemed to serve more functions because it's also an air filter system.
Sure.
And she hated that fucking Kirby, and she was so happy when she sold it for like $400.
So that's a huge, and that's the thing. Like they have decent resale value, but like, they have a lot of power, and that's one thing I like. So if you have carpet, there's no wrong things about it. Now I'm back into selling Kirby's because I still think they're a good vacuum.
I still think a Filter Queen's a good vacuum.
Good vacuum, right? Like I that was the thing. That's what makes you a good salesperson is when you believe in your product. And I did.
Absolutely.
But I just won't work for shady people. And that was one thing I've always stood behind is I will not work for shady people doing shady things, right? Like trust me, of dream jobs, people don't know this about me. So I want to do all the fun things that people can't do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love to be a pitch man.
Yep.
Right. I'd love to. I've announced a horse race before. I've done an auction before. I want to do all those fun things. But what we actually just did an episode on this. I would absolutely love to sell timeshares.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why like the whole fight with Mike is, to me, he's just not seeing the sense, and I wish he was here, but I want to make you dream. I want to get your head to be just in such an amazing place where you're the happiest person, because I want to see the smile on your face. I believe that the product is good, but like the whole getting out of it, I wish they had a better fact to get out of it.
Well, see, that's just it. If you could get out of it, timeshares would be great.
Great, right? But like, and it's saying, I like the old, not the point system. I like the old, like, hey, guaranteed this week type of thing. That seems actually like it kind of worked, right? Like, here's guaranteed. And the problem was people learned that they wanted to go to different places, and that's where. But really,
you're going to get bored going to the same place
course.
over and over.
Of course, but that's where the whole dream aspect. Think about it. You can go to Hawaii, you can go to wherever. But again, that would bring so much to me. I think joy in the sense. I don't care about your financials in the sense. I just want to get you to understand that this is what life could be. You're here on a one-time dream vacation. Let's think about this. Let's walk through this journey. Let's go. Because I think people don't dream big enough, right? I personally don't dream big enough.
Again, you would do it for an aspect of actually giving the person what they want,
100%,
not what a timeshare is.
Kind of, right? But like, I would love to do that job, right? Because like then every day I'm on a beautiful resort doing something and selling something I truly believe in, which is real estate and timeshare. But I don't own one because I know that they're a fucking scam and a ripoff,
right?
But if you're willing to pay, I don't care what you spend your money on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, they sell new cars. We don't believe that new cars are a thing that people should buy, right?
Yeah, I've never bought a new car, never will.
So, like, that's the whole thing. Could I do it? Sure. You know what? The new Mustang came out. I hope that the best salesman is the person that makes you dream about how you're there, and it brings you back to your 1969 with the top down. You got your old lady next to you, and this is what it is.
Yeah.
I want to make you look at the smile on your face already thinking about.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Dude, this is like
Steve had a baby blue Mustang.
Of course he
and
did.
I never wanted
one.
I never wanted a car more in my life, and he fucking sold it to a neighbor, and I'm still mad about that. And honestly, he still is too.
Yeah, but like that's the whole thing is the best salespeople are the people that get you to realize what we pounce on the fact of what's best for you and like what's going to make you the happiest, right? Problem is once you've owned that and once that Mustang breaks down, once that timeshare doesn't get used because your family has a wedding, because your kids are assholes and they know that you use the same week every time, but they're like, we want to get married this week because it's really special to us because that's the week we had the most fun in our whole life. Now you screwed me over.
Right.
Like, but the whole thing is that's like, I love what a timeshare could be. I love it. The outdoor adventure thing. I think I want to go sell for them out in Grand Haven. I think I would absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's the one we stayed at.
Did you really? Yeah.
Yeah, the one in Grand Haven.
Yeah. And so I just haven't brought myself to go actually apply.
Mrs. Vandentorn bought the timeshare from them because that when she retired, that's what they wanted to do. They just wanted to buy a motorhome and go camping all over the place.
Yep.
And she's like, we can just go to different campgrounds, and literally you just have to leave for like a day and then you can go to a different one.
For 2 weeks. Yeah. You get 2 weeks at a time and then you have to leave. And yeah.
Yeah, you leave for like 24 hours.
Yep. Well, and you think about it right now, and I follow some on TikTok. There's these boats, and I don't know exactly what they're called. It's a houseboat, but like it's a long barge type thing over in Europe, and they can dock for a certain period of time, and then they have to leave and go dock and stuff like that. And it's like these people are just because they're like housing is so expensive, we have to live here. And I was like, this is exactly it, man. Like sell a dream. Again, I think it's the FIRE movement. Yeah. Because I am a millennial and I believe in this aspect. Yeah. Like live below your means, get what just takes it, right? So I'm going to tangent us. So
we've been doing that the entire time.
Yeah, I know. I do have a job that people don't know about.
Oh,
so
I don't know about this.
I know nobody does. So it's to help my real estate career. So I was hired by banks.
Okay.
To go take photos of properties. Now these photos can be anything, right? But I don't want to speak for them doing whatever, but let's just say we know why you would get a photo taken of your house.
Right.
It's not always a positive situation.
Right.
Okay. Let's just put it that way.
Something bad happened.
Or something's happening.
Yeah. Or something's happening. And
yeah.
Yeah. It's,
and so
it's not typically ideal.
Exactly. So put two and two. So now, and I asked beforehand, I was like, hey, is this a conflict of interest? I intend to want to fix the situation. No conflict, no anything. We just need it. Like, great. You've given me information. You've paid me a little bit of money. I'm happy. I'm getting leads. Great. Let's go with this. But, and I'm not knocking anybody. I looked at a house. If I picked it out now, the house is 300,000. Back when my wife and I looked at one literally around the corner, it was much cheaper. But let's just say 300,000. The person pulls out in their Mercedes Benz. Right next to that's a 5 Series or 7 Series BMW. So the 2 cars is worth half of their house. Like, the whole point I'm getting at is people overspend on things that make them happy for that little bit of moment, right?
Yeah.
And that's the whole, but that's also why leasing is a thing, because they know that people want a new and improved thing, right? So
Yeah, all the time.
Like, and that's all you have to do is just get, well, why wouldn't you want the newest and the best? Why wouldn't you want the best and the brightest, right? Like, I mean, people dog on the fact of, like, let me ask you, do you want the doctor that got all D's, or do you want the perfect A doctor to do surgery on you? Did he get a certificate? Somebody behind the thing. And I know how hard it is to get these things, right? Did somebody say, hey, you're not the most pristine person, but you know what the fuck you're doing and you know how to do it. And you're diligent and you show up and you do it. I don't care. I don't care if you got all D's. I don't care if you struggled. But the fact is, you have the passion to be there. Great. Like, if you think about it, so I get the debt, right? So if you stay at home, if a doctor's in debt, 400K.
Yeah.
So 10 years they go through. 10 years they go through. They could live at home with their parents, which most of them, and 99% of them don't. But granted, their debt can be paid off within a year, maybe 2. Okay. And then they could work 2-3 years. So they could work 5 years. Granted, nobody's going to put 10 years in to only work a little bit, but they could. They could literally be millionaires within 2 years just off of investing and saving all of their money, doing all the right thing, and never work another day in their life, right? So by the age of 30 something, you could literally just be done. You'll live in a $60,000 house or $100,000 house, living off of $40,000 a year. But you're not going to do that because you've put in all this time and you've put in all this effort, right? So again, that goes back to the person that got these. Oh, they put in the same effort. They put in, sure, they didn't go above and beyond and do all this stuff. They didn't want the prestigiousness. They're still a doctor, right?
Yeah.
Like, and again, to me, in doctors, it takes the old guy to teach the young guy what he's seen before, right? Like, and I think a lot of the old people get burned out because they've seen the same thing over and over and over, and they want to see something new.
Well, when I was graduating, I was sick.
Yeah.
When I was doing my capstones, and one of the big complaints I had was I didn't want it to knock my GPA.
Yep.
And I had a lot of people go, "Why do you care?" Because I want to graduate with highest honors.
Yep.
They're like, "Well, but what does that really mean to you?" Nothing, except that's what I want.
Yep.
I work hard for my grades, and honestly, I don't work that hard, but I worked hard enough. And I'm an A student. I want the highest honors I can get.
Yep.
And Mike's somebody I find to be very intelligent. I graduated with higher honors than him.
It's annoying. Well, because I don't think Mike
didn't
effort.
have to apply himself to
Right.
get his grade.
He was like me, right?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you know what? I learned enough. This does it. It comes natural to him, and there it is, right? Like, you're gonna took the easier way out and took easier classes to get it, but yeah, I mean, just hey, it comes natural. He's a really book smart guy.
Yeah.
Courtney is a very book smart person. I seen the work she put into it and stuff like that, but like, I would have no problem again, I can get a D. All I have to do is
Show up.
well, not even just that, but like, all I have to do is 60% of this quiz. So all I have to do is memorize 60% of the questions. I don't need to memorize 100% of them because I don't care. 60%, right? Like, how do I pass this test? Because guess what? I'm going to learn hands-on in the field of how to do this, right?
I was a C student in high school
you know,
because I could just show up and get a C.
Yep.
And that was good enough.
That's all that matters. So sorry, we tangented a lot.
All right, let's get back to the debt ceiling.
Okay.
So the next thing,
You need a beer?
no, I'm good. Republicans wanted a freeze on overall spending for 10 years,
Yeah. Dude, the economy couldn't.
but a rise in deficit spending while cutting other budgets, which basically meant social programs.
Yep.
The agreement that was agreed upon kept non-defense spending flat for the next year and a 1% raise in 2025. Defense spending would be increased to 886 billion, which amounts to a 3% raise on this year. No budget caps after. The White House estimates government spending would be reduced by at least $1 trillion. Final calculations have not been released. Full funding for medical care of military veterans would also increase in line with what President Biden had sought, which of course, the Republicans really wanted the increase in contractors because that's who lines their pockets. They don't really care about the veterans when they come back.
Sure. No, if you're not working for us, what do we care?
Exactly. So this is one of the things you liked. With the public health emergency officially ended in May, Republicans argued for the relief funds that were not spent to be returned. The Congressional Budget Office had estimated this will amount to about $30 billion. Republicans wanted to toughen up the distribution of welfare benefits by attaching strings that would mean able-bodied recipients having to work to get food and health care help. Democrats were adamant against it. Welfare that was being looked at included Medicaid, SNAP benefits, temporary assistance for needy families. Medicaid remains untouched on the deal, but the age for which work requirements are included for SNAP was raised from 50 to 54.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Because really, because again, we can't touch our 401 until 59 and a half.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm fine with, unless you're on disability, then you lose your SNAP anyway. But like, if you're on disability, I understand. But like, really, I'm not gonna fight the fact that you should be working something to get some of these benefits, right? Like, I will help you if you're not making it on your own.
Well, see,
I will not fund you to not help yourself. That's
the problem we have is we should be helping these people that are willing to help themselves, but we don't do that.
Nope.
That's what other countries do so much better than what the United States does. Is if you're making, like, let's say your bills are $2,000 a month and you're making $1,000, they will supplement that other $1,000 to help you get ahead. Whereas we'll say, that sucks, you should get a third job.
And, and we have such small amounts of money that equal poverty in the sense of things, right? And so it's like when you get out of poverty, you lose so much that it doesn't. So there needs to be, again, but I also think that there needs to be a system that looks back into it, right? So when these raises that everybody fought for inflation comes into play, start lowering this, right? Nobody has a problem. Again, if you get taken $20 away from you because you're making more money, but now you have to pay that, you're not going to see the $20. Do it over a period of time. I'm not asking for it to be done right away. If you happen to hit a lottery, sure, you shouldn't be doing it, but like help these people grow and learn and educate and develop. You brought up U.S. military, which I know is a very touchy subject. It is. It's such a touch. If you're not a military person, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. These people died for your freedoms. I appreciate what you've done for me and what you've done for America and things like that, right? I'm not afraid to admit it. But the U.S. is accounted for 37% of the total military. Is roughly the size of the next 7 military budgets around the world combined. China, Saudi Arabia, Russia, UK, and India, France, and Japan. And when you look at it,
and out of those countries, who are our allies?
United Kingdom, India, France, Japan might be a question.
They are
since we bombed them. That's a horrible joke. But so China and
5 out of 7,
right? And so again, like this is we're talking about spending more and more. Like, if we spend more, we wouldn't have an attack on the World Trade Center. No, like we had more of an attack than we probably should have, right? Because the first plane, and you had X amount of minutes. Don't quote me. I'm going to say 7 to 13 minutes to figure out. There's a possibility this could happen again. Why the fuck didn't you ground these planes and say right now? I understand that people can't just land right here at the spot, but like if you're in New York, if you're in the Pentagon, it took people on there to stop them to throw it into the fucking ditch. Like we're not like we have the most spending. We're still not doing fucking the greatest that we possibly could. Like This is what blows my mind.
Do you know Pearl Harbor was preventable?
I actually have heard this the story.
Pearl
Yeah.
Harbor was preventable.
Yeah.
They
Knew about it.
they got radio contact that this was going to happen.
Yep.
And it was ignored because they figured, oh, well, that'll never happen.
Yeah, of course.
But again, we don't trust the intelligence we're given because, you know, somebody else goes, well, I can't trust that there's no way.
Not a reliable source.
Right, which, you know, if we err on the side of caution, maybe something can be avoided. In all honesty, when you looked at the whole Pearl Harbor thing, if they let them know, hey, listen, there's a possibility of an attack, maybe all the servicemen aren't sleeping in that morning and they can't bomb those destroyers quite as easily.
Right. Or, you know, I mean, let's be honest. I'm gonna walk you through a situation. David, it is the day before, the day of, well, it happened early in the morning, the day before. Hello, America, this is the president. I just want to let you know that we've had a threat of an attack, and so we're gonna ground all air flights in and around Hawaii. Anybody, you know, we're sorry to cause any problems. Are you gonna be upset that there's a threat in America that you can't
No.
fly and you don't get to go on your vacation?
No.
Granted, there's gonna be a Karen that's like, this is our dream cruise. Like, fuck you. I care more about 1,000 than I care about one, right?
Right.
Like, you're going to have a good time. I don't care about, like, and granted, people are stuck there. I'm sorry, it sucks. And I hope that your employer is a decent human being and goes, hey, you know what? Other people didn't die and this and that didn't happen. But like, the fact is I take every threat. I mean, we just talked about my own personal threats, right? Like, I take every threat as a serious fucking threat. Like, if you say something, you're doing it, right? Again, I'm a man of a handshake. Like, you say it, it's going to happen. This is what it is, right? Like, if I'm going to show up, I'm going to show up, right? If I don't, I'm going to be like, hey, man, I don't think I can, but I'm going to try, but don't be mad if I can't. Like, that's how I'm going to put it, right?
Well, again, my wife thinks I'm a horrible person because I always assume the worst.
Yeah, of course. You and I both do.
I'm going to assume the worst.
Yeah.
That way, if it's not as bad as I think it's going to be, I can handle it.
You know, everybody says, oh, it's the boy that cried wolf. You know what? I don't care. I don't err on the side of caution, like 100%, you know? So I'd like to look up that statistic sometime. There was something about the amount of things seized is less, or so is more. Sorry, the amount of things seized is less than before the attacks that are actually getting through.
Yeah.
And it's yes, it's like they're not even catching these things. We're spending all this money, and there's, you know, oh well, people aren't bringing it in. No, like people are bringing, they're just not catching it because like they have statistics that show, hey, I brought this in and got away with it, right? So,
Well, I mean, you can look at it even like from a weather aspect.
yeah,
You know, I've driven in weather you probably shouldn't drive in,
100%.
but I have never driven in weather in an area like, you know, I-94 is notorious for this. They'll get 100-car pile up.
At least,
I have never gone, hey, I think I can make it through that
yeah,
because I err on the side of caution. I'm like, nah, there's a couple roll-offs on 131. I drive safe enough. I think I can handle that.
yeah.
There's a 100-car pile up. I think I'm going to avoid that. Maybe I'll stay home today.
That's, you know, I
drove home from that trip, like Seattle or whatever, or Montreal that I took, where your
Yeah.
wife got mad at me for not coming to your house after, but I just wanted to be home.
Yeah.
But it literally took me like 2.5 hours to get home
Yeah.
from Grand Rapids.
Yeah, because it was awful out.
so that's a horrible drive.
But there were no, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, so there was no traffic. I literally just set my cruise at like 35 and just went with it.
And you know, I've only turned around on one trip, right? And I was bringing my niece to Chicago, and it was for her 10th birthday type thing, and
I like your sunglasses, Addie.
got 4 miles, and it was just sliding, and we seen 7 cars at that point.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, look, I've never turned around ever in my life. I will drive through everything, but I think we can go next week and it'll
This
be just
isn't
as fine,
safe.
right? And I was like, look, at this moment, it's going to take us 9 hours to get there. You're going to lose it, if not longer. You're going to lose out on half of this time. We could just plan for next week. We'll still do some fun shit here, right? Like, okay, great. And then it turned out everything was fine, right? Again, I can replan my whole life. I just can't save a life, right? Like,
Right.
you
I do
just
have,
say,
I do have to add, oh, is this more about like people dying and stuff like that? I was wondering what got you
we're
on.
talking about the U.S. military and how much they spend.
Yeah.
And how it's 37%. It makes up 37% of the next 7 nations of spending, combined.
And then
Yeah.
we were talking about avoidable things.
Avoidable, yeah. I say Pearl Harbor was, I think, could have maybe been avoidable. 9/11. Well, and there's this news.
Honestly, I read something that Pearl Harbor could have actually been a lot worse than it was.
Oh, it definitely could have.
Because they attacked the actual like ships.
Oh yeah.
So the big thing
if
on
they'd have attacked a little more like inland, where like the dry docks and stuff are, where they repair the ships, they could have like really just damaged our entire like West Coast Navy.
one of the big things on Pearl Harbor was none of the aircraft carriers were in the harbor.
Right.
They were all out at sea. So
Yeah.
they didn't get any aircraft carriers, which meant
And
they
even the
didn't get
thing,
planes
other than
either.
the things that sunk, like most of the ships that they did damage to, they could pull into
Yeah, there were
dry
only
docks and repair, and they were able to repair them in like a year and a half to 2 years, and that's why like when Iwo Jima and like Guadalcanal and stuff were able to happen, we were able to have a full force.
yeah, there were only 3 ships that were sunk that were not able to be risen.
But I say, I don't know. But back to right.
Yeah.
They want to add more to the U.S. military budget.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, why? Like, when is enough enough? Right? When are
At
we
this
going to
point,
say, hey,
the only reason it basically been trying to do that. The only reason to do that is to think of either A, we're just going to do something to take out like all the terrorists out there to make it where they don't even have a place to, like they're just all bad, or they're expected to go to another war.
Well, a lot of this is
they're
going
worried
to
about Russia.
contractors. It's the contractors that are getting rich.
And that's the part that's just BS. Like, really?
Nick's listening to a voicemail right now. So I'll
While
talk
he's doing that,
quietly.
I'm going to add in like
Yeah, go ahead.
going back a little bit because I missed kind of the tail end of student loan forgiveness, so we got way off track.
Yeah.
You mentioned the teacher in Florida.
Yeah.
Who was told after 10 years, like, if she were to count up her money, like if she's already paid $100,000 for her student loans and still owes 100, and she only took out 50, at that point, that entire
Yeah.
Because at that point, she's paid a reasonable enough amount of interest where she should feel like she has either very little to pay or it's cleared.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
giving a $10,000 benefit to somebody who just got out of college and hasn't started paying back is like, no, I think it's at that point you try to revamp it to where maybe they're only, hey,
Well,
maybe the interest they've already accrued or whatever.
yeah, and I agree with that, right? Like I do.
Yeah.
I think that the way that it's written, especially after they redid it, right? Because I think, at least how it was told to me, I might have accrued interest. I don't know, Mike. All I remember is just paying the stupid debt. But like I was told, hey, you don't have to pay this back until you're done with college. Actually, I was told it was 6 months after your last day of college.
I mean, you're young enough where I would anticipate you were at the earliest. They weren't as predatory as they are now, but they were moving to that point where you were probably accruing interest from
Yeah.
the moment you get it. Now it's just they've been able to set it up in such a way where not only are you accruing interest from the moment you do it, it's not
Yep.
like you could be like, okay, we've accrued interest and we're going to accrue interest for another 5 years post your graduation, and then at that point we're going to lock what you owe. Because it's a thing, like you mentioned it, you sign on a mortgage, it may still be 2.5 times what your house is worth over the entire length of the loan.
Yep.
But that's all you're going to pay unless you opt to refi.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I have no problem changing it to something like that. But this is also, again, why we talk on Bucks and Brews. And this is what's really hard. People are like, well, I can't go to college if I don't have the money and there's no way to get the money and blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, guess what? If everybody stopped going to college, colleges would either A, make it cheaper, they would change their loan stuff, right? They would make it so that people would come there because it's a huge business. Also, these companies would stop relying on having to have a college degree, right? Again, if you're promised, I think the only people I can say that are promised jobs are the ones that go to Harvard Law. From my understanding,
There are probably a few.
everybody-
Like you're talking Harvard, Yale. I mean, you're talking
well,
creme de
said-
la creme schools.
well, no, I'm just saying, like, the only people I've ever heard that say, "Hey, the graduating class is all offered guaranteed lawyers jobs," is from Harvard. I've never heard of Cornell. I've never heard anybody else. All I'm saying is everybody is guaranteed to
Well, it might
have an
just be the
offer.
fact that Harvard advertises it, because at some point they might have lost people to like Yale or other places like
Sure.
that. So Harvard says you will be here,
But
I guarantee. And I mean, but the difference, if you go to Harvard Law, I mean, if you're getting accepted to Harvard Law, you're probably already on the top tier of students anyway.
sure,
But if you get through Harvard Law with a D average,
yeah,
would you really be guaranteed a job over somebody who went to U of M Law and got an A average?
no, I see, but they're just guaranteed, right? I mean, but the whole point is I tell people not to take debt, right? So again, if you're telling me the only way to go to college is to get debt, then don't go to fucking college, right? Don't do it. Like, stop making these bad decisions. And my point is if everybody thought that way, if everybody said, "Hey, my parents aren't paying for it, this isn't happening, I have to take some sort of debt," the amount of college would go down, or the amount of the way debt is written would change. Again, if you're probably both, right? Like, hey, you know what, we'll give you the loan because it's a little bit that you need, and
Yeah.
and it might slow the world, because sure, you wouldn't have college debt people at 21 years old, because 17 you graduate, 18, 19, 20, 21, 4-year degree, 21, now you're into the thing. Great. So you've worked for the first 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, whatever, and then you go back to school. Well, then I have a family. That's, again, not my problem. Right? But like,
well, you're also hoping if you
go,
done
it's
that,
going to
you've
force
also
people
saved
to
up
go
enough where
so
you may
much
not need
longer.
the loans.
It's going to force people to go so much longer before they get into debt. And then they're going to go, well, do I want to take this debt? Is what I'm promised guaranteed? Again, I'm not telling people not to go strive for their success, do whatever, but you understand, and especially with how much is out there now, with how much knowledge is really out there about how shitty loans are. I mean, it's been out there for quite a few years, and there's still people going to debt. Like, where do you draw the line? I mean, do you give it only that few year gap where it was like, hey, we actually pushed it in media? Because, dude, I mean, you and I sat up at night and it was like, are you at home sitting on your couch? Get up and make the call. That's all, right? Call this institution. I can go back to college. I can do that. Like, so again, if it's ever sold on TV, you don't need it. So, and if college is sold on TV, you don't fucking need it. But
Well,
Hey,
one of
you're talking about his college.
mine is sold on
Well,
TV.
so
which is fine. But
Okay,
like,
here, I'm going to throw this out. I don't know if you're young, able to remember this, but I know you will remember like ITT Tech
yeah, HEC Tech, yeah,
and the commercials that they would have. Like, I was talking to a family I've known for, at this point, like literally almost 20 years at the graduation party I was at on Sunday. I was asking about their oldest son, who only wants to be an electrician. He's decided he wants to be an electrician.
good.
He's going to Kalamazoo Valley Community College's program.
Yeah,
He is still required to do all the general ed requirements.
Yep.
He should not have to.
well,
No.
and that's the whole thing. When you go to college for that, it's stupid, right? So if he went and
Yeah.
worked for an electrician company, he could be an
Well,
apprentice.
most
He would put his
places wanna
$4,000
have
in,
you have
he
a
would go
little
take
bit
his
of-
test, and then he'd be an electrician, right? And then he puts more hours in and becomes a master electrician. Plain and simple. Is the difference is like, we say, hey, this is the easy way to become it. This is the smart. Well, you don't want to become an electrician as an apprentice. Why don't you just go in with a little more knowledge than everybody? Then you have to step up. It's not fucking true. Now you're taking stupid classes you don't
I
even
mean,
need.
you're still having to do the apprenticeship, no matter, maybe a shorter apprenticeship.
Well, you
But
have to
even
do an
that, these
apprenticeship.
schools should literally just be like, there should be a school that's like, you know what? We're going to teach you everything to know, you would need to know to get through basically your first like year of an apprenticeship.
I was talking on the
And
phone with
that's
somebody
all you have
today.
to learn about.
Was it you?
We
We
were
didn't talk on the phone. I was talking with my buddy Jeremiah, who joins us once in a blue moon. And I said, here's the difference between my wife and I. I want to be great at one thing. My wife wants to be okay at a bunch of things.
So jack
Right.
of all trades and a master of none.
Right. So, but like when you look at an electrician, okay, and this is a very broad, very generic example. You're taking 3 wires for the most part, right? A neutral, a ground, and a positive wire. You're wrapping it around something. So you need to know what you need to wrap it around, how you need to run it, how to do.
Yeah.
What the fuck does a general ed science class have nothing about it? Like, sure, you have the opportunity to become something different, but the fact is, I want to teach you how to wrap this, and I'm going to teach you how to wrap it well. And this is what you're going to do. You're going to systematically be able to put any electrical into any place. Now you have a bigger wire.
Why did they make
Let's
you
go
take
to
all
like
those
your
classes?
wife. You talk about
More money.
Your wife
More money.
does. Your wife does. Is it occupational physical therapy?
She's occupational.
But even in general, other than maybe a few classes that could help her understand how to interact with patients,
Sure.
every class she should have taken for her degree should have been toward her degree.
Yep.
There
And
should
that's,
have to be extra like history classes.
Mhm. unless the history is based around how we screwed up in the past with OT and where we are now, right?
Well, that
So
would be, but again, that would be like when I was wanting to do psychology or something. I took a class about kind of how psychology evolved. It was strictly about how it went from like, Freud and his thoughts, some of the behavioral stuff, like getting into like a combination of nature versus nurture going into it. I'm like, that was a meaningful class. Me taking a class about modern European history doesn't matter. All it does is teach, proves
and
you
I-
I can look at a book and pass a test.
I understand you're smart, Mike. I do. Okay. But here's a question for you guys.
Yeah.
When's the last time you've ever used pi r squared?
High school.
Okay.
I mean, I honestly don't use that
Okay.
because it has no impact on my job, but is there a lot of things I've learned in some of my
You've dialed in
To Bucks and Brews, you might hear something
you can use.
like tips on your cash or tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use
smarts of these
because
stuff.
they know the
And
brews.
they know the Bucks, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, cause shit's not funny.
And save yourself some
Beer money, bucks,
and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks
brews.
and brews.
brews.
Bucks and brews.